Today I am going to do a review on Prince Lestat by Anne Rice. I really enjoyed the experience of reading this book. So, to give you some background, Anne Rice has many different books in the Vampire Chronicles, but I think there are really 5 main books, and the rest are kind of like side books. And I think most people would agree with me there. Anyway, so she started the whole series with Interview with the Vampire in the 70s, and that is told mainly from Louis's perspective. If you saw the movie, Louis was played by Brad Pitt. And Lestat is kind of the villain figure in that story. He was played by Tom Cruise, if you saw the movie. But then, in the next 4 books, Anne Rice kind of flips it, and Lestat becomes the hero of the entire world, really. And the next 4 books, The Vampire Lestat, Queen of the Damned, Tale of the Body Thief, and Mimnock the Devil are all told from Lestat's perspective. So, when I was in high school, I kind of went through a little Anne Rice vampire obsession. When I picked up Interview with the Vampire, I completely fell in love with the whole world. I fell in love with Louis, first of all. I love him. But then, of course, as I read on in the series, I fell in love with Lestat as well, because he's just really a brilliant character. So, years go by, and then a few years ago, she said that she wasn't going to write any more vampire books, so I was kind of bummed. So, naturally, when she announced that she was releasing Prince Lestat, we were all very excited. So, as soon as I picked up Prince Lestat, it was kind of like revisiting an old friend. Like, I started reading it, and I got really excited, because I was almost like falling in love with Lestat all over again. And I remembered why I love him so much. I love the way that she writes him. I love his voice and the way he phrases things. I love his complexity and how he is both good and evil. I love how he has suffered and experienced love and joy. And I love how he talks about art and death and life, and I love how he's always up for an adventure, and he's always taking serious risks. So this book is set in present day, and the major plot centers around a mysterious voice that has gotten into the heads of all the vampires and is making the older vampires essentially destroy the younger vampires. So, there's kind of chaos going on amongst the vampires. A bunch of the younger vampires kind of refer to themselves as a tribe, and they all are looking for a leader amongst themselves. And this is all with the backdrop of the vampires in this new information age with the internet and cell phones and everything, and trying to figure out how they're going to adjust to the modern world. If there is a flaw in this book, I would say that the middle section is kind of confusing at times, because she starts the book from Lestat's perspective, and then she goes into a section where she introduces a ton of characters, and some of them are new. Some of them are vampires that were kind of explored in some of the other books. And then some of them were really obscure vampires that were maybe mentioned in the other books at some point, but never really talked about. This part of the story definitely was very dynamic, and it kept my interest, but there were times when I had to kind of look back because I couldn't remember who was who. And I felt like this might not have been the case if she hadn't put all of those chapters together in the middle section, if she had kind of interspersed it with Lestat chapters throughout. But needless to say, I thoroughly enjoyed the experience of reading this book. For those of you who have read it, I'm not going to spoil anything, but I will just say that Rose was probably my favorite new character. I really enjoyed her chapter. I kind of would have liked to see a little more of her. So I do acknowledge that this book wasn't perfect, but I still gave it 5 out of 5 stars because I loved it. Anne Rice's world building and character development is phenomenal. Anne Rice's vampires are really complex, and we deal with a lot of deep themes about kind of morality and good and evil. A lot of discussions about art and life and death, and a lot of kind of existential thinking in this book. I also thought it was really interesting how they all came to terms with the modern age and all of the technology. I thought that was a really kind of fun thing to explore. It's kind of fun to think about, vampires with iPhones. This book was basically everything that I hoped it would be. So let me know in the comments if anyone has read this book and what you thought about it. If you want to read it or, are a fan of Anne Rice's other books, I'd love to hear what you guys have to say about Anne Rice or vampires or basically anything. And thanks for watching. I will see you guys next time.